thank you for making that effort because you believe that this is an important movement. Over to you, Elena.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here and to be part of this first cohort of Gender Trendsetters. It's a real privilege. I want to talk about a cultural change because this is at the core of the efforts we need to strengthen gender equality. And it is not an easy task, but I believe that it is the only way to achieve fundamental and lasting changes. Cultural change in reality is a long-term objective, but we can do a lot to accelerate change and to start moving things in the short term. For example, the World Economic Forum tells us that if we simply wait for changes to follow the speed they have shown so far, we will have to wait 135 years to close global gender gaps. And gender gaps related to economic opportunities, which are related to ICTs, will take longer to close. In addition, we took steps backwards with the pandemic, more in some countries like mine in Mexico. So nobody watching this panel will get to live in a world with gender equality unless we take action now to accelerate cultural changes. If we want to see it in the course of our lives. But I believe that we can do it. There are changes needed from within the individual, and we can take action for personal transformation, but we also need systemic changes. From the individual, being sensitive, learning about our conscious and unconscious biases that because they govern many of our decisions, of our behavior. And we learn about gender perspective, which is a systemic approach to understand how these factors that lie within all our interactions produce the system that we live on. We must complement history to learn about feminism, to learn about women in all areas. In our sector, to learn about scientific champions, women in technology, social activists, women that have promoted telecommunications, information technologies. We have to talk about, we know about Ada Lovelace, about Edith Clark, about Hedy Lamarr, but we also need to rescue the stories of women in science and ICTs in every corner of the world so that girls have close role models with whom to identify, and also that gender roles and stereotypes disappear. But not everything must come from the individual. For example, there is a movement to train women to acquire negotiating skills so they can achieve better salaries and promotions. But wage discrimination shouldn't exist in the first place. And it originates in practices that have been historically normalized and concealed within organizations. Wage discrimination can be corrected within the system by having general specific data about salaries, having clear commitments to correct it with transparency, with supervision, with accountability. So it is essential that we promote disruptive changes within organizations, new rules, so that we begin to erase discrimination, that we have safe spaces for women, to promote inclusion, to that organizations may thrive because of diversity. And we need affirmative actions to bring visible, immediate changes, to forge new rules, to develop protocols to correct, for example, biased decisions, biased behaviors, to fight all types of violence, of microaggressions that generate hostile environments for women. In the digital world, we need also to fight gender violence that affects the image, the careers, the public participation of women. And this violence is coming into the digital world. And finally, gender inequality is the outcome of cultural and structural conditions that interact in a complex system. And we have to act simultaneously in different parts of that system to build new equal gender partnerships in our societies. And that's why I believe that we have to bring this gender perspective. There is a systematic approach to change. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Elena. Very important points. Also the point on safety. We do not have Excellency Nima here today, who's a parliamentarian, and she's our gender trendsetter from Tanzania. And she has highlighted the fact that women parliamentarians are harassed online, and it's really brutal. So she has taken this up as a cause for being a gender trendsetter, and she's going to take this topic up from now onwards till the next year, that she would be a gender trendsetter. So thank you so much. Yes, we are looking forward to a cultural change. It's change management for many organizations to think that inclusion is about including everybody, and women, men, the different communities that we are working with. So thank you so much, Elena, and we really appreciate you being here, because, coming from Mexico City to Geneva, it's a long journey. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. I would now like to move on to Tatiana, CEO of Open Health Networks. Tatiana, we have also heard that you were